Welcome to Senior Break. I am Marie May, Director of Addison Township Senior Center, and Dawn.
And I'm Dawn Medici with Oxford Township Parks and Recreation. Welcome back to Senior Break. Today we have a special guest, Deborah Halkoff.
That's okay, doesn't matter.
And she is with CapTel, and she has some great information to share with all of us, and how we can make your communication at home a little bit easier. So welcome.
Thank you for having me, both of you. Thank you.
Do you want to give us a little background maybe of the phone?
Sure.
Or about you.
Okay.
Yeah, give us a little bit of background about you.
Good.
And
Start
then,
with you.
then we'll go into the phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. So my name is Deborah Halkoff. Halkoff, however you want to say it, it's fine. I'm really known as the phone lady. So if you get one of our phones, I'm going to identify myself like, hi, it's Deborah, the phone lady. That's kind of how everybody knows me. Probably a lot of your viewers have seen me at different events, senior living events and community outreach programs, because that's what I do for CapTel. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and it's a really interesting job because there's a lot of different facets to it. So one part is technical, where I go into the home and I'm actually connecting the phone, the internet, doing all the training, and another part is doing the outreach, so I get to go to doctor's offices, audiologists, hearing aid places, community centers, senior centers, things like that.
Hey, sounds like a great phone.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun job.
All right. So like Marie was asking.
Yeah, do you want to get into, I'm getting excited about knowing what the phone does.
Oh, sure. Do you want me to do a demonstration, or you want me to just kind of do an overview about it? Because I did bring a demonstration phone today.
Yeah.
Start with an overview?
Yep.
Okay.
Start with the overview.
Start with our questions after that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so the best part of the phone is that it's free. So I like to always lead with that. People like to know that. And then the follow-up question I always get is, well, how is it free? Nothing is free.
Right.
And so I just want to reassure everybody that we work with the Americans with Disabilities Act, and that's who provides these phones. So it's a free phone for people with any degree of hearing loss. They do not have to wear a hearing aid. There is no income requirement. There's no age restriction. So it is not exclusively for seniors, although seniors are mostly who benefit from this.
So then how do I connect with you? Like how do I know that I need this phone? What do I need to do in order to get this phone?
Well, you just need to have hearing loss and call me. My phone number is 248-910-3147, or you can send me an email. And then the next step after that is I'll either email you, I can just fill out a form. We have an example here. Just fill out a form for you. We'll get a signature as a certification from a nurse, a doctor, audiologist.
So why would I want this phone? What's different about this phone than the phone I have at home?
Like your
Yeah,
landline?
I have a landline at home, so why would I want this phone?
Well, this phone is 4 times louder than a regular phone.
Okay.
It's going to caption word for word what the caller is saying. So much like your closed captioning on TV.
Okay.
That way, if you're on the phone and you're missing some words, you can always glance up and take a look. There's another feature where it stores all the conversations. So if your doctor called you this afternoon and you had some important information, and then next week you're like, what did they say?
Right.
You can always go back, find that call, find that conversation, and confirm what was said.
So the words come right up across the screen?
They do.
That's good.
Right.
That's very
And
good.
what a great way to have that that conversation stored,
Yes.
because I know myself, if I don't write it down right away, then sometimes I walk away and I'll forget.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's that part of it too, right?
Yeah.
That it's nice to have that feature to go back to.
Well, not only for the user, but also for a caregiver
Yes.
who's coming in maybe once a week and saying like, hey, Ma, what did they say? And Ma doesn't remember. And this way there's, no question about important things.
Is the sound of the ring adjustable, or is it just always loud or always low?
Oh, it's adjustable. Everything's adjustable. The volume on the phone's adjustable, the tone is adjustable, the phone, the ringer itself is adjustable. You can change the volume, you can change the pitch. So, and it doesn't take away your phones that you're using at your home. We just add it too. I always tell people it's like we just gave you a phone that you can hear on. But we're connecting to your phone line, we're connecting to your existing internet. So we're not changing anything around.
So, and when you say it's free, the phone is free, but not the service?
No,
AT&T, you still have to
100%.
pay.
Well, no, we're connecting to your service.
Okay,
We're
just wanna
just
make that clear.
assistive technology.
Okay.
We're connecting to your existing services.
Okay.
However, there's no charge for me to come out and install it, for me to train you on it, for 24-hour customer service,
Okay.
or for the captioning service.
Okay.
Zero charge.
So just filling out this user information that you had said.
Yes.
You complete this, what other information do you need from the person that would benefit from this? Do you need a driver's license, an insurance card, or anything?
Nothing at all.
Okay. Or a doctor's script?
No,
Or-
it does not require a script. It just a doctor, nurse, audiologist, social worker, physician's assistant, someone that can certify any degree of hearing loss.
Okay.
So once that's taken care of, so I work with a lot of audiologists and hearing aid places that have my demonstration phone in the office, have this form here, and they'll just email over the order.
Okay.
But for someone who's not being treated currently by a doctor, a lot of people just call me, give me their information, who their doctor is, or who has previously done a hearing screening with them, and I treat them like my grandparents. I just call, I let them know that this is what we're doing. Most people are really, offices are very eager to help their
So for
patients.
my seniors that already have this phone, do they have to have another hearing test?
No,
Okay, so really you would just,
it's just for people who are getting the phone.
Okay.
And I did want to mention that there's 3 different models that we offer. So when someone contacts me and they have a question about the phone, I like to ask them, are you using an iPad? Do you use a smartphone? Are you comfortable with touchscreen technology? That's our most modern one. This is the one I brought to demonstrate today. But these other 2 models are available for people who may not be comfortable with a touchscreen,
It's very
and they'd
good to
rather,
know.
yes,
Right.
they'd rather use something like a flip phone,
Yeah.
where the menu shows up here and there's just a couple buttons to go through the menu and make your selections that way.
yes, the
So,
old-fashioned landline.
right, so that way I'm not
Makes it easy.
overwhelming anybody, and I'm getting the right fit for the person.
And you said you bring the phone out and you or
I
someone
do. No, I do.
bring it out and train them how to use it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I think we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to have Deborah show us how to use the phone and show us what the phone can do.
Okay,
All right,
sounds
so
good.
we'll have that demonstration when we come back.
Be right back.
I used to think news is news. It's all the same. But it's not. There's a big difference between local broadcast news and cable news. See, local stations are part of my community, connecting me to local news, weather, and sports on every device. It makes sense. Get the news from the people I trust who actually live here. No agenda, no bias like on cable shout shows or social media, just facts. For news I can trust, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text TV to 52886 today.
Welcome back to Senior Break, and we have Deborah back with us today from CapTel, and she is going to demonstrate these new phones for us. We have many questions for her, and Deborah, if you're ready, I have a question. If a
Okay.
senior already has one of these phones, and it might be from a different company, are they still able to replace it with this phone?
Yes, that's a great question, and we are able to replace it. And furthermore, if a senior has a house up north or a house in Florida, a house in Arizona, or wherever they have another residence,
Right.
they also can have a phone there.
Oh, that's good.
So, and they could keep the competitor's phone if they wanted to, and then just add this phone to it.
Okay, so if you're ready, if you want to start demonstrating what
Sure.
these phones can do.
Okay. So this is our 2400 iPhone. This is our most modern phone. And this would be for somebody who is comfortable with a smartphone or an iPad. So that would be my first question to you. If you wanted to get a phone, what are you comfortable with? So as you can see, I'll just take you for a spin on it. As you can see, this is the volume control, and it is going to be 4 times louder than a regular phone. And you can adjust it right here. Where the green lights are, that's kind of like average noise level. As it gets into the red, that's somebody with severe hearing loss. And that's an indicator there just in case somebody else without hearing loss goes to use the phone. They want to be prepared, how loud it's going to be. This is our speaker phone.
Can I interrupt for just
Oh,
a second?
sure.
So that volume control is not just for the ring to alert the person, but it's also the volume for when they pick up the handset
Yes.
for listening and,
Yes.
talking. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
So the audio is 4 times louder than a regular phone. The ringer can be super loud.
So it's a separate.
Yeah, those two are separate functions.
Thank you.
Oh, sure, yeah. And this is your speaker phone. So this is how you would dial out. And you can hear a little demonstration here. One of the things, and a nice feature we have, is a tone option. Right now, this is at a low tone. So some people, depending on where their hearing loss is, they can hear better at different tones. So this is low, then this is medium. And so somebody, if they're talking to someone who has a higher voice and they hear better at lower tones, while they're on the phone, they're always able to make those adjustments. So that's a really nice feature because it's not just volume that's an issue, it is also the tone or the pitch that people struggle with.
Okay.
Another great feature is you can make the words larger just by hitting the plus sign here.
That's good if you don't have your glasses when you answer the phone.
Right, and a lot of people, if they have hearing loss, they also probably have some degree of vision loss as well. And you can make it smaller. If the captions are going too fast and they need to catch up, you can just hit the pause, and then you can get caught up on the captions, and then you hit play, and it'll pick it right back up again. So that's a really great feature as well.
So if I want to go back and listen to something, a doctor's visit or something the doctor said
Sure.
that called in, I can just go back and read it.
Right,
In large
so,
print.
yep.
So is it available just via to read, or is it also audio as well, that saved message?
So you're kind of asking about two different things
Okay.
because,
Okay, yeah.
so like if we just continue on with the tour here, this blue button is for customer service. So everybody has customer service at the touch of a button for 24/7. This is your captions button. This is the home button. So I pushed that home button to get to the main screen.
Okay.
And that's what you were talking about is call history. So a great feature is once you have a conversation with someone, and let's say, it's you talk to somebody, you talk to the doctor today, they make a change to your appointment or your medication, you hit review captions next week, find the call, and you can double check it.
Gotcha, okay.
Now, if you want to have your answering machine, it has a built-in answering machine where you're going to be able to hear the messages as well as read them. And all of it is stored until you hit delete.
I've got a question. On the
Sure.
answering machine, if you're away and you come home, is there a light that will alert you have?
There is. Yep, there's a light right here,
Okay.
and you can set
Okay,
it.
that's good.
Normally, when I go into people's homes, I set it for every 15 seconds at that interval, and then after 5 minutes of not using the phone, this screen will go dark, like your iPad or cell phone.
Okay.
This light will flash, and that way they'll know, okay, somebody left a message. It'll also show you all the calls that you've made, all the calls you've missed, all the calls that have come in that you've had conversations, and all of that is stored under call history.
Okay.
Another cool feature about this phone is it stores up to 100 contacts. So what I normally do is take the person's cell phone and upload their contacts from their cell phone onto this phone. You can have 4 speed dials, and those will show up on the main screen when you pick up the phone or hit the speaker. And you can designate, of those 100, 10 favorites.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's really handy too. So when I go in and I install a phone, I'm going to set this phone up. I'm going to go over all these different features just like I went with you. I'm going to make practice phone calls, set up their contacts, set up the answering machine.
So when you
I don't
leave,
just
it's all
drop it
set.
off. I
Right.
don't just
Okay.
drop it off and run out
leave.
the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I treat everybody as patiently as possible.
Now, if I'm still having you leave, and 2 days later, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't remember how to use or look at the stored captions.
Right.
I would contact you, or I would hit the 24/7 help button.
Well, with every phone is a huge manual that's included that shows you step by step with pictures, which is broken down by topic. So anybody can easily find some kind of frequently asked questions like that. Like it's a thick user's manual. However, they could hit customer service or they could call me. I always do put my phone number in their contacts. However, I'm doing things like this or I'm in people's homes, so I'm not as available to do like tech support. But the great thing is about our phone, everything is labeled. Everything on the front, on the base of the phone, every single thing here is labeled. If you even accidentally hit the garbage can, it's going to give you that backup. Are you sure you want to delete it? So if you made a mistake, hit no. If you feel panicked, I always say like no place like home, just hit the home button. Now you're on the home screen.
Okay.
So, and again, if you were thinking, okay, well, where's my saved conversation? You can kind of play around with it, and it's very user-friendly to kind of get there.
Now, when you're talking about that phone, is this one the same? It runs the same way?
No,
Okay.
no.
All right, so since they're 2 different phones, I think we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Deborah can talk to us about another option for a phone.
Okay, sounds good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Senior break. Before we get started with Deborah and showing us how to use this particular phone, I do have a question.
Sure.
So, with the phones, do you need a Wi-Fi connectivity or like Bluetooth? Or can they be Bluetooth connected? You know, connect with a Bluetooth. So, what is needed also to help make these phones work?
Okay. So the different models have different connectivity requirements. This phone here, you need the internet and a landline or a cell phone. This phone is also available if you have the internet, landline, or a cell phone, but this is the model that's for people who only have a landline. and no internet at all. So the good news is, like over COVID, our caption speed and accuracy has increased, our connectivity and our different options have increased. So basically I tell people all the time, like if you're talking on a phone, we can probably connect our caption phone to it.
Okay.
And am I understanding right, this one can be connected to a cell, if that's all you have
As
is a
well as
cell?
this one, as
Okay.
well as this one.
Okay.
There's a couple different models, and this one can be connected to a cell as long as you have the internet. If you only have a cell phone, then there's nothing we can do because we need the internet is what brings over the captions.
Okay.
Your cell phone or your landline brings over the audio for the phone call.
Okay, got it.
So that's how it goes.
Got it. All right, so tell us a little bit about this phone.
So this is our 840 phone, and this is a model available for people without the internet and with the internet. Now the features are similar in that this is 4 times louder than a regular phone. It does have the volume control just like the other phone. It does have the tone just like this. It's kind of set up in a different way. So this is the phone that I would give you if you call me and I say, hey, do you use a flip phone or a smartphone? And your answer is flip phone. This is the phone for you because it uses the same kind of interface as a flip phone. I don't want to overwhelm somebody with a touch screen, even though the whole world is touch screen and the gas station, the grocery store, everyone uses it. But if you're not comfortable with
Right.
trying it out, I don't want to overwhelm anybody. So the reason I mentioned flip phone is because the menu will show up here on this main screen. The buttons are used for up and down, yes and no, to go through your menu. So see, your phone book is in, what am I trying to say? Inside and internal, that's the word, internal phone book. Here you have 3 speed dials. We still have 24-hour customer service at the touch of a button. But you know, selecting things differs from touching a screen. Then this one here, you're going to go through the menu, select it, and continue to do that.
Okay, so it's all pretty much just right here.
Yeah.
And it's all displayed here.
Exactly.
But to move around, scroll around, you use the functions, you use
Right.
these
Just like on a
4
flip phone. When you
buttons.
flip open a flip phone, the menu is here. You use the up and down arrows and the OK button to navigate through the different menus. So that's the phone that works just like that. So this is the one I install most often for people. And even if they use a flip phone, but they might have a flip phone and an iPad, and I'll say, hey, do you use an iPad? Are you comfortable with touchscreen technology? And you know, I just try to find the best fit for everybody.
So you ask a lot of open-ended questions to determine the needs of your customer.
Definitely. And when I get to the home, you know, I'm an installer. I have these phones, a ton of them in my car. So if I get there and I open this box up and show the person and they're like, oh, that I don't want that, then maybe that's a better fit for them. Or if I open that up and they're like, wait a second, that's too big. This one can be mounted on the wall. This one sits on a desk.
Okay.
So, you know, we just have a bunch of different options to make sure.
So if I decide I want one and I invite you to come into my home and install one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not obligated to what I'm telling you over the phone,
No,
or what I
not at all.
Okay, great.
No, and let's just say you've already used this one and for some reason you want to upgrade to something else. That's an option too. I can come out and swap the phone. And like I was saying before about the customer service, when they do any troubleshooting, if it's not resolved, then an installer will come out, a technician will come out and resolve the problem or swap out the phone too.
Great.
So if we already have one from another company, it doesn't matter, right? You just still come in and put this
Sure.
phone in?
Yeah.
And then you
I
take
do
the
that
other-
all day long. I replace the other, there's 3 other companies, just so your audience knows. There's Caption Call, Clear Captions, and CapTel. And it is confusing because we all start with the letter C. But we are the only one that is made and manufactured in the United States, and our customer service is based in Wisconsin. So that seems to be something that most of my clients over these years, that's very important to them.
So then what would we do with the old phone?
You would contact your company, like if you had a different company's phone, you'd have to find out what they would want to do with it.
Okay.
I would not be responsible or take their phone.
Okay, you just replace.
I would just put our phone in.
Okay,
Right.
that's easy.
Okay. All right, so in order to have either of these phones, you have to be either a landline or a cell phone.
Right.
For this phone, landline, cell phone, and Wi-Fi. This one you don't need Wi-Fi. You just
Well,
need
this one comes in
landline.
a couple different models.
Okay.
So this one is available for people. This is the one you're going to get if you only have a landline. But if you have a landline and a cell phone and the internet, you can get this model too.
Okay.
It's the same look with different connections available. But this one is not available for people with a landline.
Okay.
But
I mean, not a
This-
landline,
well,
only a landline.
Right, only a landline. This phone would not be available.
Right.
Okay.
and this one, if you just touch the screen at the right spot, really kind of tells you what to do.
It does. It does, yeah.
So, you know, if you're worried about learning it, it really helps you. It's user-friendly.
Definitely user-friendly, and I always recommend this one because like flip phone technology is going away. They're not supporting, you know, most places that have flip phones are not supporting that anymore.
Right.
And I tell everybody, like, this is at the gas station, this is at the grocery store, this is at your doctor's office, this is at the Secretary of State. You might as well get comfortable with a touch screen at home, and then you're not going to be as overwhelmed or anxious when you're out in the world trying to go to the grocery store.
If I have this phone in my kitchen, and I have the other old phones, will they still work?
Yes.
So I can
Yes.
still have the other phones?
So many homes I
This
go
won't stop
into have cordless phones,
Yes.
and everybody thinks, oh, I've got a phone line in every room, but you don't. You have a main jack where the dial tone comes in. That's where I'd put this phone. I'd share the jack with the existing phone, and that way all the phones in the house, when someone calls the same number they've called for 20 years, are going to ring. You could even answer your cordless phone in a different room, and then if you needed the CapTel, pick up the CapTel, and it'll start captioning right there.
Okay. So if you're really not into computers, which a lot of us are not, this would be a good way to start. This would be a good way to learn.
And it's
Because
not a
it's
computer.
easy.
It's not a computer. That's the other thing I want to emphasize. All the time when I talk to people on the phone, they're always telling me they don't have a computer or they don't like computers. You don't need to have a computer. You need a modem with the internet. And this is like an iPad that you can get comfortable with. It is not like a computer. You can't really delete anything. You're not going to be able to screw it up. It's very user-friendly.
All right, well, that's a lot of great information. And if anyone is interested in getting in contact with Deborah, again, Deborah, your phone number?
248-910-3147.
And Marie and I would like to invite Deborah to come on back out to our centers. We're going to try to set up some dates for after the new year where you can come in and play with the phones, touch the phones, and possibly we may even have an audiologist or a doctor here that could do hearing tests. And then Deborah can help you pick out a phone and pick an install date and come on out. So,
Thanks.
yeah, thank you, Deborah.
Thank you. This was very informative.
A lot of great information. So please reach out to Marie or myself or Deborah if you have any additional questions, and watch for our newsletters or our calendars for more information about CapTel at our centers. All right, well, that's a
Thank you.
wrap
I'm
today.
gonna-
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.